In this video, I'm going to go over my online dating profile. I'm going to break down why it's set up the way it's set up to give me the vast majority of the dates that I go on. It's a successful profile. It has been for several years, and I'll go over as to why it is successful in this video. What's up, you weirdos? You sick, horny, self-improvement grinders? How is everybody doing? I'm Cam. If you don't know who I am, I'm not the main guy on this channel. I'm the other guy, and I am a coach in Andy's The Winners Club. And this is a request from him. The big, bold beauty in all of his wisdom has decided for us to break down our online dating profiles. Both of us do the vast majority of our dating via online dating. And it'll be helpful to the guys who view this channel to see how we think about setting up these profiles. The majority of your success is going to come down to the quality of your profile, the quality of your pictures, and I would say the vibe that the overall profile gives off. I think that's maybe a departure that Andy and I have from some people, is that we care about the overall vibe of your profile. And if it has the right messaging, sub-communication, if it has the right vibe. Vibe is very important. Like what emotions are you setting off in the minds of the girls who see your profile? And does that, lean them towards swiping and talking to you on the app? It can actually be quite hard to pin down, what makes a successful profile, and specifically what a guy has to do to get from something that's not working to something that's working. We do actually see quite a few guys who, are pretty good looking. They're not socially unawkward. They're not messaging poorly or whatever, but they're not having much success. And it comes down to they're missing something from their profile. Even if the pictures are like of good quality and they look good in them, there's something that's missing. And Andy and I typically talk about sexualizing your profile, creating a vibe that will work for getting casual sex and casual relationships off of online dating. And I truly believe that any guy can set this up. I believe you can really nail down what you have to offer as like a sexual opportunity to girls who are looking at the profiles, and figuring that out is like the main journey really. And once you have it figured out, it's like opening up a floodgate. It's crazy how you can go from like 0 to 100 in terms of success when you finally crack the look that you need to go for, the vibe that you need to go for online. But the best way for me to explain it really is to like actually show you my profile and get into it and break down the pictures one by one. I'm also going to show like the bio from Tinder and the Hinge prompts. I primarily just use Tinder and Hinge, so I'll go over the bio and prompts on those two apps. So we start on the main picture. This has been my main picture for like 4 years now. It works really, really well. I haven't really seen a need to change. When you get a main picture that works and you don't, depart too much from looking like the picture, it becomes quite sticky with you. You don't want to get rid of it because mains are really important. Like if you ever looked at like the data for when people swipe on pictures, it's usually the first one. And then this one gets a lot of, direct likes, but I guess it's the main picture. So I can't, off Hinge, you can see which photo they like, but as it's the main, it's not always the best data on that front. But it is the portrait picture that shows me in my best light. I did a ton of Milano tan based on how dark my beard is leading up to this shot. You can see it's probably the darkest I've ever been. And I hover around this in the summer. I get about this tanned again, just hopping back on the MT2. And yeah, good fashion, good accessories with the, just one accessory with two accessories with a hat and a necklace. I like it. The background's a little bit random. It was the main criticism I had of this when I was like, does this make sense? Because I'm just sat in like an orchard somewhere, but I took the shot and the shot's close up, so the background isn't really hugely important. But yeah, it's pretty standard to do a kind of portrait shot, but you want to make sure that you're dressed in a way, you're presented in a way that has that edge about it, has that vibe about it. So you can do portraits that are like completely the wrong vibe. Like you could do like, big smiley face, cuddly boyfriend looking shot, which a lot of guys seem to do, and doesn't work that well. But if you kind of put on the stoic looking face, we did a video about this on my channel where we talked about how like stoic face seems to work better than smiling. They have done certain, I think, tests on this and came out and said that smiling is better, but we just haven't seen it like in practice, like especially when it comes to looking for casual sex online. Haven't seen any evidence that like smiling works better. I don't even know what their actual data is from. It seems to be from like matches on like across like the match group stuff. I'm not 100% sure on that one. We've found just from coaching and like anecdotal experience in our own lives that stoic face not smiling works better. You can have smiley photos, but you don't want them to be in your main pictures. It's preferable anyway. Photo number 2 is this shot of me walking. The reason this is number 2 is because I'm not wearing the hat, so I'm not catfishing and like showing that I'm, I don't have any hair. I feel better having like a good shot of me with no hair. I do want to reshoot this one though. The fashion is a bit dated. Skinny jeans. I prefer if I was wearing a rib tank underneath. I probably want the shirt to be even more oversized than this. It looks pretty nice. I actually like the shirt. The shirt's fine. I would just throw a tank underneath and I'd have different style jeans, maybe some straight fit or something, different sneakers as well. The bag doesn't really make sense. It's just a gym bag. You want something that's like branded or like looks cool if you're going to do a bag thing, but whatever. It was just a prop. Like we would do. I was walking down the road and it looked better to have a bag in my hand. And yeah, it's worked. It's done it really well. Like this performs really well. Also had SMP on my head. So I don't have like just a completely bald head anymore. There's like a hair shadow. So I want to do another natural light shot similar to this and replace this. But I have no real like issue with how this performs currently. It's doing very well. And it moves between the vibe as well. Like it moves well from first to second to have like another high quality shot as well. Third one is me at a house party from quite a while ago now with 2 girls who are very attractive. This is like pre-selection style photo. Like you have 2 girls on you, which means like they're physically close to me as well, which is kind of like the point, is that they're like girls are comfortable being physically close to me. There's like a lot of sub-communication around like pre-selection, having photos with girls, having photos with hot girls especially can really help like sell your case on online dating that you're someone worth going on a date with, worth being with. So yeah, it's good to have this. I want to redo this with some other female friends of mine and do like a more up-to-date shot. I'm not super happy with my fashion in the photo. I'm not super happy with the quality of the photo, but it's actually it's a really good example of like what style of shot you want to have if you're going to have a shot with girls, because it's not like going to girls are not going to get jealous of this shot because it looks like more like I'm at a party with a couple of girls who are friends, which is what it is. So like that's the whole point. Like the problem I see some guys doing is they do like couple looking shots when they're not a couple, when it's not a couple profile. And I don't necessarily think it's the best idea to have a photo where it's like almost obviously looks like you are a couple in the shot you have if you have a girl in the photo. But you do see some, like Ed, who's a coach of ours, has done shots with models where the photo is very obviously like a model frame, like they're doing modeling. So it doesn't look as bad to have it like that. This one is an experiment that I ran because it breaks a lot of rules. Like I feel like a lot of guys be like, no selfies, no like low quality shots like this. We are in an age where like phone shots are fine. Like I think phones have gotten really good to a point where I would actually have a few phone shots on your online dating. I don't think necessarily that all of your shots should be phone shots. Like a couple of nice pro ones would be good. Candid pro shots. We have a friend who does online dating photography and his job is to get it as candid as possible, like a paparazzi style shot would be. But having good phone shots now is like all the rage. And this is mine. This is like the most up-to-date fashion I have on the profile. I would actually update it even further and go baggier with the cargos and have a sweatshirt on instead of the shirt. But it's pretty close to like what I wear now. And yeah, I like it because I'm in like you'll see later on my bio, I have like fashion consultant, stylist on my profile. And having this kind of shot here shows that I'm like interested in fashion. It's like, that's kind of the whole vibe of this shot, like me in a clothes shop wearing fashionable clothing. That's like the whole point of this. There's like an attitude to my face that when I took it, I sent it to Andy being like, I have a feeling this would work online for some reason. And he's like, yeah, it's to do with like your facial expression, the way you're looking. It's like kind of cocky. Like he said it was basically like a fuckboy image and he thinks it would work really well. So we put it up and I got quite a few Hinge matches like this photo specifically, like more so than any other photo except for my main. So in terms of like the actual experiment, I think this worked really well. So I kept it up since and it performs really good, as I said. Now we're getting into like the back end of my photos. These are all replaceable depending on what I'm trying to do. If I want to take something new, this is actually quite an old photo again. This is even older than the photo with the girls. Like I still have my hair in this photo, like the remembrance of my hair from the time. But this was like just like a really good shot with a mate that I had. Like one of my best shots with a friend, just use the way my face is like shows up in this photo. We're doing gang signs. No, we're not really doing gang signs. I had a cigarette in my hand, and I think so did he. And then Andy edited the cigarettes out. This is like one of the first photos I ever used in online dating. I just have this in the back. Like, I really do want to replace it. Like, I just need to take better shots with mates that are kind of like a similar kind of vibe. Like, it has that like night out sort of energy that I want on the profile. Like, I want to show that I'm a guy who goes out, that a guy enjoys nightlife, and this is kind of one of those photos that like keeps him in that kind of vein. So I'm gonna try and replace this when I get a better shot. Finally, it's like the most boyfriendy photo I think I have, just like a standard photo out in nature. My mum took this. It's quite nice. My beard looks really on point. That's why I liked it. And like, I have that kind of like stoic, like looking out going on. I think I could do better than this, but this has replaced another one that was a waterfall shot that wasn't great because it didn't really show me. It just showed me kind of looking at a waterfall, whereas this shows a lot more of me. So I'm using this one as like my out in nature. I like going on hikes. I like traveling shot. And that is basically what the vibe of this last photo wants to be. It's like something in the back end that shows a different side to you that wasn't shown in the previous photos. That's kind of what you're going for. So if you have like cool hobby photos, those go in the back end, in my opinion. Those aren't your main photos at the front. Your main photos at the front, we want to focus more on your vibe and more on you being like having friends, if you know hot girls, if you like going on nights out, that kind of stuff. Putting that to the front end, and then put your like the softer side of you to the back end of the photos, so they kind of get like this journey of like going through the photos and seeing different sides of you. That's how I like to build it anyway. You can try doing different things. If you want to do the more cutesy stuff at the front and the more like edgy stuff at the far end, you can try it. Just tell me how it goes. But this is the way I like to do it, knowing that we want that vibe front and center to catch attention and get more likes that way. Getting onto bios. So I keep my bios super short, super simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I'm pretty minimalist anyway. So like that shows off in the bio. And I've got my height. This is actually, I can get rid of that now because I think you can show your height via the settings. I don't know why I still have the height in there, but you can just add height. I believe on Tinder and Hinge now, you can just put it in the settings and it shows up on the profile anyway. Got my flag, show I'm not a local, I'm a British traveler. Travel and techno, just a couple of interests. You know, it's pretty obvious. I'm just putting it there because they're interests. And then I always sign off with "Don't steal my favorite shirt," which I've been using for a while. I stole it from someone else. All the best bio stuff you steal from other people. I used to use Andy's "Girls Hate It When You Pull Their Hair" thing, but that's been used by everybody, it seems now. So I moved on a while ago. I used to use Dan Bilzerian's line too, the one of "I'll ruin your life, but it'll be fun," and girls used to react to that. This one though, "Don't steal my favorite shirt," girls like have reacted to this more than anything I've ever put in the bio, except on the Hinge prompts, which we'll get to. But yeah, this has worked really well for me. Just having like a really short one, doesn't provide any like, you know, red flags or anything. And I guess it will screen some people out who don't like techno, which is good because they have to like my music for me to get on with them. Even in casual relationships. See, that's what the prompt is. One of the prompts says my love language is sharing music. It's kind of a boyfriendy thing to say though, isn't it? We want just edge, sexual vibe and edge, like I said. Now, we can have some cuddly stuff too. So the first prompt I go with on Hinge, I think this is actually a pretty fun one. You don't have like prompts, I don't think are that important, but they tend to like prompt conversation. That's why they're prompts, you know what I mean? So girls will react to your prompts in conversation with you. And that can make the conversation a bit more interesting than just like a dry, like I don't template anymore, messaging templates. They're good for new. If you're new, great, use a template. If you're not, after like, you know, messaging a few hundred girls, you should understand how to, you know, chat to them online. So I think you should try and move away from templates and more into like winging it and learning how to chat to girls like more organically. That's unless if you have serious volume, you're like, you know, some super Chad, supermodel, and you have unbelievable volume online. Yeah, you probably still want to template your messaging. But otherwise, there are things you can do in your prompts and your bios that will create, you know, messaging, make it more natural. And you can react to their bios and their prompts and do stuff like that. You know, situational openers, some guys like to do where they react to something in the bio or the pictures. But I get a lot of people playing two truths and a lie with me on this stuff. So I work as a fashion consultant. I run a successful YouTube gardening channel and I'm a DJ. The lie is I'm a DJ. But some of my other stuff, like the way I dress and like I talk about sharing music and all that stuff, and I talk about techno, makes them think that that's the truth. It's good. And then they get really excited that I run it. A lot of girls get really excited that I run a gardening channel, which is weird. That's like my day job. And the fashion consultant, I've been on and off style consulting for the last couple of years. So that's completely true too. This is something I put in recently. It won't work as the weather gets warmer because it was very specific to like November, December. But I recently discovered that cuffing season doesn't require the actual handcuffs that I bought. It's like fun, it's cheeky. I think it worked pretty well. A few girls did respond to this quite well. And yeah, had that there for a couple of months. I'll change this out. Not sure what I'll change it to, but I come up with random things every now and again to throw in. Some of them are a bit corny and cheesy and maybe a bit cringe, but some of them will work well. That's the nature of doing this stuff and dating stuff. Sometimes you'll cringe, sometimes it works out. You got to try things and figure it out, you know? Give yourself permission to suck and then stop sucking later and get good. And I've already shown you my love language is sharing music. It's my cutesy side. I think I spoke about okay. I said you have to have a sexual vibe, have to have a bit of edge about you. You can then juxtapose it. We talk about juxtaposition, and it's something that Good Looking Loser was big on. It's something that Andy and I are big on. You have this like edgy, casual sex wanting vibe persona, but then you're also just a decent bloke with like wholesome things they like as well. You know what I mean? Which juxtaposes to all the edge and the vibe. And that goes really well. Like that works really well. Like the obvious example people used to say was like a complete like tatted up, pierced, like chain wearing fuckboy who can also play like a piano, you know, who can also play like classical music is like, you know, that's the kind of idea. Like the juxtaposition of someone who looks like a fuckboy, but has all these like wholesome talents and like all like cultured talents. That's what you want. You want that kind of yin and yang juxtaposition going on. And that works really, really well in online dating profiles and on social media. That was my quick run through of my current online dating profile. If you guys are interested in getting some direct help from either myself or Andy, then consider looking at the Winners Club, which is our coaching program. There's information on how to sign up below. Also, if you're watching this because you're struggling with online dating and you're a younger, inexperienced guy or even an older, inexperienced guy, we wrote an ebook to help the inexperienced guys succeed with their sex lives. And that is also information down below on that or on the website if you have a look there. All right, weirdos. Peace.
If you've been wanting an amazing, awesome, elite sex life, tons of threesomes, plenty of wild adventures and great memories with awesome people, we would love to help you get there. Here's just a little bit of what our coaching clients have achieved in their time in the program. Renee had a threesome in just his second week of coaching, had a woman write him a love letter, and he went on to have sex with 12 women in just 12 weeks of coaching. Corky had his first threesome, slept with 7 amazing women, and made a ton of awesome memories with them. George and Power both had sex with 10 women each in their 12 weeks, had a bunch of wild adventures along the way. Join me and join them by clicking the coaching link in the description below.